Hello, my name is Elliot, and I'm here with Taviana, who is a longtime Student U member, student, and employee, and now works at Duke and Student U. So hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. I'm doing good.
That's good.
All right, so start off with a quick first question. You have held many titles over your life, most of which were for nonprofit organizations. What inspired you to take on nonprofit work?
What inspired me to take on nonprofit work mainly was because of my morals and how they aligned with the different organizations that I have worked for. When I thought about me working in a corporate realm, there was a lot of things that just didn't really add up to me, or that I felt like I could see myself doing more long term. But also here at Student U, I felt like there was more of a calling and a passion for what I wanted to do in my life. So it just kind of lined up, and there was an opportunity, an open door. So here I am.
Okay. All right, and so what career are you in specifically?
So I went through the communications pathway. I've held many different titles as far as career stuff goes, because also I've been trying to find my career path and what works for me. I think I have landed in a sweet spot where I feel comfortable and content. Right now I'm working in development, but still kind of holding to that communications aspect of what I went to college for.
Okay. And so what did you do in high school that helped you get into college?
What did I do in high school? For one, I did go to early college, so I took a lot of college classes already. But I made myself a well-rounded student. So I was in a lot of different organizations, whether it been at school or outside of school. I did a lot of charitable work, you could say. I used to host clothes giveaways to people in the community. Okay. Because not only did it look good on myself, but then also it was a chance for people who actually really needed things to be able to come and get things that they needed. And I just felt like I was also helping them out in a way too. Yeah. And then also building those connections within the community as well. And then I was able to get college waivers, so I was just applying to colleges that I could see myself actually going to. I didn't just apply to colleges just to say I applied to different places. Yeah. It was I looked and said, do I fit into this this environment? Or will I feel like when I go to this college, will I feel like I am a part, or am I just another person that's just on campus? Okay.
And so what was the most challenging part of applying to colleges?
The most challenging part would have to have been that, say for instance, if I was at home filling out a college application, I just wasn't surrounded by people who could effectively help me the way that I needed, or answered the questions that I needed to be answered. Yeah. And it's not anything of that they didn't want to help me, they just didn't understand. Yeah. So I could show them something and it's just I can read, I can comprehend what it's saying, but as far as what you need to do, I don't know exactly what type of information needs to be put down on this paper, or what this means, or what this is going to look like when you get there. So I would say that was the biggest challenge.
Did Student U support you in any way during your application journey and stuff?
So I had my college success advisors here that kind of helped me, for one, find those waivers to be able to apply for different colleges, so I wouldn't have to pay for application fees, different things like that. Also went over what financial aid was with me so I could accurately fill it out. Gave me some different schools, also give me some opportunities to talk to some different people from different schools, so that I could see if those were good fits for me. Where I kind of narrowed, now it sounds like a lot when I say it out, but I narrowed down to the 7 places I wanted to apply to. Okay. And I think here they also made it was a number of different schools that they wanted you to try to apply to see let's try to apply to 5 different schools or 4 different schools. I don't remember exactly what the number was, but I do know I applied to 7 different schools.
Okay. All right. And did you face any family expectations, or did that affect you in any way, picking your career and stuff like that?
Surprisingly, from my immediate family, no. Well, I don't want to say surprisingly, but no. From my immediate family, no. From extended family, yes. Because I think when it came to my extended family, they saw other people in the family doing certain things, and it was either you don't want to be like this, or you need to be like this cousin over here, or this aunt over here, because they're doing this, that, and the third. But coming from My dad, one thing I remember he always used to tell me is like, I don't care what you do, just as long as you do your best at it. Like, you are number one, you're doing as much as you can, and you're doing the best you can at whatever you do.
And do you believe that there are any, like generally speaking, do you believe that there are any like restrictions between careers and race? Like maybe one race is not necessarily like restrained, but more or less like defined by the one career choice and stuff like that?
That's a good question. I do believe that there are many different injustices that are put in place, and it's mainly from like a systematic type of standpoint. There's a lot of things that happen that even when they are happening, sometimes you don't necessarily realize that they're happening because it happens so often. So it's just something that can sometimes be embedded in the system that we are operating in. Do I feel like we should think there are any restraints? No, I feel like we should be able to think that, you know, we can be able to get wherever we want regardless of what our race is, but we also need to be aware and not be blind to the fact that there are these different things that are put in place that do keep certain races or certain demographics at a lower advantage than others.
So what challenges did you have while picking a career? Like any?
I think one of the challenges that I'm also currently having now is that if I always used to play this thing of like, if I look the part for like, you know, you're going out for these certain jobs. Again, going back to that question that you just gave me, I look a certain way. I wear my hair a certain way. Sometimes it's different colors. I remember at one point I was scared to get tattoos. I have tattoos. I have piercings. I'm just like, I don't know, like if I look the part or if people are going to take me serious in anything I'm saying. Like, I can know everything from the back of the book, but if I come in looking a certain name, or my name is spelled a certain way, it's said pronounced a certain way, it's not like a traditional name. So it's just like, do I even look okay on paper to be able to go for these certain roles and stuff like that? But then also realizing being here, which has also helped, is that it doesn't really matter exactly like what I look like. I'm able to be unique. And that kind of helps with whatever I am talking about because I'm coming from a genuine place. What I'm saying is how I feel. It's not sugar-coated. It's not washed with anything. This is my most authentic self. And I know what I'm talking about. So it doesn't have to do with if I have 50 million face tattoos. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're able to understand what I'm saying. And I got my point across at the same time.
What advice would you give to seniors based on the college application process?
Again, try to be a well-rounded student, so get involved in some stuff. And make sure that you're highlighting that, whether it's in your essay or your college application. Choose schools where you feel like is the best fit for you, or has that a good program in whatever you feel like your career path is going to be, regardless if that changes or not. 3, when it comes to filling out your college application, a precursor to that is like, make sure that you're taking all your standardized tests seriously, even though I can't stand standardized testing, but if you can, like, to the best of your ability, try as hard as you can.
So how can students find their passion?
Oh, yeah, no. Passion looks different in many different ways. So whatever I say you find your passion with whatever you feel like you can see yourself doing for a long time, or whatever you're sitting there, you're doing something and you're like, okay, this is actually a breath of fresh air. I feel comfortable. This is something I love to talk about. This is something I love to do. I can see myself doing this for 24 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day. And you're just like, I really, really love this. I really, really like this. So also to be able to find your passion, it comes with just not staying in your bubble,
zone.
In your comfort zone. Sometimes you have to be pushed to be uncomfortable. And what I mean by pushed to be uncomfortable, it's not something like, oh, I'm super duper uncomfortable, I don't like this, but it's just like something you didn't necessarily see yourself doing, but you kind of put yourself out there and you're like, you know what, I'm going to try something new. We're going to explore something new today. And then you actually might find out that you really, really enjoy it. So sometimes you have to push yourself outside of your bubble and kind of realize that the world is a lot bigger than just what you know, or that box that you decided to keep yourself in, and kind of open the lid a little bit and kind of peek out, see what else is going on. So those are some different ways you can find your passion.
Your interest. All right. Well, those are all the questions that we had for today. Yeah. All right. We're here with Dylan, who is a rising 10th grader at Jordan High School. How are you?
I'm good. How about
Good.
you?
Good. I'm pretty good. All right. And so, what electives are you currently taking at Student U?
I'm taking Voices of Student U, Healthy U, Activision or All-Ambition, and African American Studies.
All right. And did you specifically choose those electives?
Yes.
All right. And what would you like to do in the future as a career choice?
I would want to be a baker, but also I'm considering doing anything that has to do with history and that type of field. So yeah.
Okay. And does this influence the elective you take at Student U?
Yes.
All right. And did you believe that electives allow students to branch out?
Yeah, because it has allowed me to branch out into stuff that I want to do, particularly. So yeah.
Okay. And should electives be chosen by students or teachers?
I think it should be chosen by students because it's the students' career, not the teachers. So I think that the students should have a voice and say what they want to do when they're in career path.
Okay. And do you think that students should have a say in the classes or electives that they are offered?
Yes.
Yes. And how many elective classes should students have in a typical day of school or high school?
I think about like 5 or 6 to balance out the amount of core classes they have.
And how many, and do you think that electives should be made based on different career choices?
Yes.
And in regards to Student U, would you say that the electives here differ from school electives?
Kind of, because some classes that we have at Student U, I don't have in my high school, but it's kind of mostly similar, so yeah.
All right. And what electives would you like to see incorporated in your high school?
I think my high school is very diverse with their electives, so I don't think our high school really needs any more electives like that, so.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for
All
your
right.
time.
And thank you for watching another episode of Voice of Student U. Thank you.
Who are we? Student U. Who are we? Student U. Who are we? Student U.